What is up, everyone? And thank you for tuning in to Don't Say the F Word. We are a pro wrestling combat sports podcast. We do not use the F word when we talk about professional wrestling. Shouldn't let your friends use it either. It's Saturday. We don't do Saturday shows. This week's different. Shit's been crazy. We had Dynamite 250. We had Raw, SmackDown. We've been building some gunpowder throughout the week. We got Joe coming in. No Mark the Monster. We are not in the studio. 250. Modern classic. I'll say it right now before the illegal brother-in-law Joe even gets in here. We got a modern classic going between Will Ospreay and MJF. Damn near an hour. Joe, where you at? They went damn near an hour. May as well call it an hour, right? I don't know, man. It was good. Damn, that match was good. Strickland and Okada, also good. It brings in a lot of questions. You know, where do we go from here in AEW? It says Joe's unable to join. Joe, I don't know what's wrong with your shit, but I think we've had a good week of pro wrestling. We are coming up on SummerSlam. Going to be happening right here in Cleveland. Curious to hear how everyone feels. If SmackDown did good, building toward SummerSlam. There we go.
There we go.
Joe is here.
Hey, y'all.
What's
Saturday.
up, Joe?
I was shocked.
On a Saturday.
On a Saturday, I was
On
shocked.
a Saturday. What had you shocked? What were you shocked about?
I was shocked. There was basically like 3 matches the whole night for Wednesday. Just 3 matches.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what my expectations were for MJF and Will Ospreay, to be totally honest with you.
I don't think it's gonna be. They ain't mentioned it's gonna be like an hour match. Normally,
right.
Normally be like 30 minutes, and when it got to like 8:30, I was like, oh, they ain't called for the 30-minute march.
There was a part of me that thought, you know what, they're gonna go to a time limit draw, right? Seemed like time limit draw could be a realistic thing to come through. I didn't think it was going to be a 60-minute time limit draw. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either.
And that was for the International Championship. Spoiler alert, if somehow by Saturday you guys haven't caught Dynamite, MJF is your new international champion.
At 59 minutes and 58 seconds.
59-58.
That was crazy. I wasn't expecting that to go that long. Yay.
Yeah, I was definitely not. I wasn't expecting an hour. This brings up a question for you, Joe. MJF Ospreay. Is that a modern day Flair Steamboat?
Nah.
No?
Mm-mm.
Why are they not?
I don't think that's the modern day Ricky Steamboat. I would probably say that would be the next. That'd be like your next Miz and Daniel Bryan.
Really? You're not going to give it Flair Steamboat status?
Not yet.
Do you think we're going to get a series of Will Ospreay MJF? Is MJF Will Ospreay's match at Wembley?
It probably will be, but I don't think that's gonna be at that Rick and Steamboat status just yet.
Really?
They really ain't got nothing. They didn't really have no real rivalry. They just jumped in because what was it? Daniel Garcia was trying to fight for the belt, and then MJF turned his back on him, and that's how that little feud started. It wasn't really nothing built up for him to be saying, "Hey, I hate you," but when you just trying to defend another person.
What was the build for Flair Steamboat? Wasn't it just the championship?
Championship.
Well, there wasn't a personal thing, was there?
Nah, it was a championship.
It was just about who was better, right?
Yeah, but I don't see that being like the Rick and Steamboat. That's probably gonna be like the Miz and Daniel Bryanson. That's it.
I guess, man. I don't know. I thought it was a very good match, and maybe I'm having I don't know, what do they call that? A recency bias, where something happens real recent, you kind of feel a little bit stronger about it, as opposed to something historical.
I ain't saying
Let me ask you a question.
It wasn't a bad match. It was good, but
it was a really good match, right? I mentioned Flair and Steamboat, and friend of the show, Joe Monroe, recently engaged in a panel discussing Ric Flair and his championship reign. Well, reigns. 16-time world champion.
And WWE combined with WCW, NWA, 16.
So WWE's recognized 16-time. I believe Flair touts it at being actually like 21 or something like that, but there's some that WWE don't recognize. Without all of the title reigns, is Flair still relevant? If he was not 16-time world champion, is Ric Flair still relevant?
I'll say no.
You think no? So I struggle with it.
I just say no because, well, I'll say he is because the OGs like my dad worship Ric Flair, but the modern day people today only would know him just because, hey, he held 16 times championship. They don't really tell him who he fought. They just recognize from being 16-time champion.
Right.
They don't ever tell people who his greatest rivalry was besides Steamboat. They just,
oftentimes you don't even hear people talk about Flair and Sting.
Yeah.
It's not mentioned as often as I would really think it would be. So that question that was posted by Joe Monroe from his panel kind of got me thinking, like, is Flair relevant without all the title reigns? I don't know. My question is really, how relevant are those titles without Ric Flair? I kind of feel like Flair made the NWA title matter for generations. And it's not to discredit Harley Race, but, I mean, Flair was the NWA in the 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
He was WCW. Like, people, like, looking back with the clarity of hindsight, we often think of Sting as being Mr. WCW. But why is Sting Mr. WCW? He's Mr. WCW because of Ric Flair. Flair was WCW. Flair was the NWA. Flair was Crockett Promotions. Flair was pro wrestling in the United States. Hulk Hogan was sports entertainment. Flair was professional wrestling. Does anybody else make the NWA title matter? The way Ric Flair made it matter? I don't know. Like, I don't know that Dusty could have made it matter the way Flair made it matter. It was important that Dusty was chasing it, and chasing Flair to get it, because people didn't want Flair to have it. Could anyone else have been the heel like Ric Flair in the 70s and 80s? And I don't think so.
Well, you already said hard race. Maybe they did put Jerry King in there.
Put Lawler in there. Take Lawler from Memphis and just have him go around the NWA. I mean, he could have been a heel. Could Jerry Lawler have transcended like Ric Flair? Like Flair, like the filthy rich megastar in the 80s was like, Flair did it perfect.
Yeah, he did.
But that wasn't Ric Flair. Like, that was Ric Flair cosplaying Buddy Rogers. Nature Boy Buddy Rogers did that whole shtick first. Nature Boy Ric Flair was inspired by Buddy Rogers.
And Glorious George.
Yeah, Gorgeous George. Could Flair have gotten over like he did, not being the Nature Boy character? If he was just that bruising brute that he was, remember he first ended up in Minnesota training under Vern Gagne. Could Flair have been the star?
I can't say because I wasn't there around that time frame. I can't say.
It's hard to kind of fathom it though, right? Like,
yeah.
I think without that inspiration, I don't think he's even close to being as relevant. And I don't think that I don't think he's the guy who makes the NWA title matter like it did. So I don't think he gets to the legendary status that he has today. Now, granted, he shits on his own legendary status every chance he gets. But that's probably a conversation for a different day.
It's the Nature Boy.
Yeah. So we had a great match between MJF, Will Ospreay. Joe says it's not Flair Steamboat level. I've watched it twice. Only twice. I struggle, man. It was a damn good match. It was really, really, really good. It's definitely a modern classic.
It's good. But I'll just say, if they want to get to the Steamboat Classic, Ric Flair Steamboat Classic, they're going to have to put on a few more matches.
Yeah, I think we'll get I think it's definitely going to be the Wembley match for MJF and Will Ospreay. I don't know what they'll do. Maybe they'll do a 2 out of 3 falls at Wembley. Maybe.
Or probably another disqualification since he did use the ring at the last 30 seconds.
Yeah. It would be a great opportunity at Wembley if it's Will Ospreay versus MJF. Whatever type of match it is, it would be a great opportunity to bring Wardlow into this and have him cost MJF that title. Because you got a guy like Wardlow sitting on the sidelines. What do you do with him? You know what I mean?
I thought Wardlow was like, injured.
I don't know. Not that I know of. Could be, but not that I know of. We also had Swerve Strickland versus Okada. What do you think of that?
I'm going to say the MJF match kind of took it out of place because they went over their time slot. So they just, it kind of messed it up, to tell you the truth. I think that's what happened.
So I think both both matches were great. I think, I mean, it was Dynamite 250, so it needed to be a really good show, and it was a great show.
It was.
I don't know if they should have booked something as big as Swerve and Okada to follow MJF and Ospreay, because Swerve and Okada was great, but to have Swerve winning by DQ, I guess it gives you the opportunity to run it back on a night whenever you don't have Will Ospreay and MJF going for an hour. So I guess it's probably the best finish they could have done given the booking of the show. I don't know. It's a little weird to it's terrible because I'm the guy who says Swerve should always be the main event, and then we have him as the main event, and then I don't know if we should have had him as the main event. Because when do you open up a wrestling show with a match like MJF Will Ospreay like that? How do you open a show with such a killer match?
Because they didn't want you to know it was an hour match. That's why.
Right. And you know what, man? Whoever's decision that was, absolutely a great decision. Because, you mentioned that, and I didn't really think of it that way right now. Because earlier today, I was thinking about professional wrestling, as I often do. And I was thinking to myself, nothing's ever a surprise in wrestling today. Like, week to week, like, you're not ever, it's rare that you're like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. And I was thinking, like, because we had someone comment, one of our live shows not too long ago, that they don't actually watch wrestling. They watch clips on YouTube and they listen to pro wrestling podcasts and they watch they watch pro wrestling content, but they don't actually watch WWE or AEW regularly. But they keep up with it through other means of consuming pro wrestling content. I was thinking, interesting. It's kind of like the sports fan who doesn't watch the game but watches Sports Center was their approach. I can't remember the person's name. So if you're out there, if you're watching this live right now, or if you're catching this on YouTube or Spotify, tag yourself, please, because I was thinking about that. Like, could you really stay current as a wrestling fan, not watching the shows? Because week in and week out, Raw and SmackDown and Dynamite don't have a lot of surprises. Major titles don't change hands. And we're beyond shock, like people jumping ship and stuff like that. But you mentioned like MJF and Will Ospreay going for an hour. That was a surprise. I did not see that coming. But what are your thoughts? Can someone be a current, staying up-to-date wrestling fan without watching the shows week in and week out?
You can.
Right? You can.
Because you can, because as of today, there's a lot of people out there that just can't afford cable. We'll leave it like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ways to get that pro wrestling content nowadays that didn't exist whenever we were younger. When we were in high school, if you weren't watching Raw Nitro, man, like, good luck, because there were weekly wrestling magazines, but you were always a little bit behind. I didn't know anyone who got the Wrestling Observer newsletter delivered to him back in the 90s. I can't believe I didn't get it, but
yeah. And then you got all your little streaming services that only provides certain channels that you can't get. So, yeah, I can understand why people just go on, like, you watch Facebook, see the next day, like, oh, Roman Reigns lost to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Or like, hey, Swerve and MJF, this and that. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, totally doable, I think. I think you could absolutely be an upset fan not watching the shows week in, week out, and not really feel like you missed stuff. And you have a lot of, I mean, we're pretty regular with our show, but you have some outlets that are even more regular than us and posting updates constantly. Like, you could totally stay in the know in pro wrestling and not be watching the shows every week. And I think that's really cool. But when that person commented that, I'm like, man, that's going to be like hard, was my initial thought. Like, what if you miss something? Like, you could end up with FOMO, like something like crazy could happen and you miss it. But really, there's not a lot of crazy stuff that happens anymore.
Yeah, you could, let's just say you miss something and they talk about on like one of them pro wrestling sites when it actually happens, then boom, 10 minutes later, somebody posts that same video on YouTube. So you ain't gonna really miss nothing.
Yeah, it's true.
Because there are some contexts out there that do, when they're like Raw, SmackDown, any premium live event, pay-per-view comes on, they'll stream it live and tell you what's going on. And then if you see, they tell you something exciting happened in the match, somebody will go over to click on the YouTube, 10 minutes, that clip is up there. So you ain't got really nothing to worry about. So you could say, hey, Jacob Fatu Solo, the new blood member, somebody already got the storyline on how the new Bloodline 2 came into play. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. That Lou? Uh-oh. You froze on the other side. If you hear me, you froze. Like, damn. That's like the mean face you got showing right there since it froze like that. I'm just throwing out there. Anybody, y'all still watching? Oh, you're back. You're back.
Here we go. Okay.
I'm like, you froze for a minute. They're like, what happened?
I don't know what happened there. But I think I think with that idea that you can catch up on things easily, it leads to the next question. Is WWE too predictable today?
Yeah, it's too predictable. Well, it can be predictable, but then they throw a little swerve in there.
No pun intended, right?
Yeah. Just like how Sami Zayn beat Braun Breaker clean. Everybody thought Braun Breaker was going to win. I did. But he beat him clean.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, that was definitely unexpected. Speaking of Sami Zayn, why do you think WWE can't book Chad Gable correctly? Or do you feel that way? I feel that way. You talk about Sami Zayn, and I thought the heel turn against Sami Zayn, because first of all, I thought he was going to be the first guy to beat Gunther. I thought that was Chad Gable's spot.
That should have been his spot.
And then he doesn't take the title off of Gunther. Then I thought the heel turn with Sami Zayn would lead to something. And then he loses to Sami Zayn 3 times. So then you think that the heel turn with the Alpha Academy is going to lead to this nice payoff of him versus Otis. Otis getting I don't want to say redemption, but I don't think I have a better word than redemption. But I guess Gable getting what he deserves by getting beat up by Otis, or at least having to face him in a match.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't even get that. Otis just pushes him and says we can't be friends anymore. So then he teams up with the Creed brothers for, I don't even know what this is going to be called, because we're still referring to Otis and Nakazawa and Maxine Dupree as the Alpha Academy.
Alpha 2.0.
So that's what we're calling Chad Gable and the Creed brothers? Alpha 2.0?
I believe I bet you anything it's going to be Alpha 2.0.
Then what the hell does that make Otis in them?
They are the Alpha Academy. Oh, wait. Otis and them will be the Alpha Academy. Then Chad Gable and the Creed brothers will be the Alpha Graduates. So 2.0 right there, the graduate. Alpha Graduates. Something crazy
Bro,
like
that's awful.
that. I know, but it's something crazy. I bet you they come up with something crazy like that.
Like, and you're building a new faction with the Creed brothers and Chad Gable, but they're running from the Wyatt Six. Like, you can't book them to beat the Wyatt Six. That you can't do that.
I don't know where they're going with that right now. I gotta wait. Watch. If they be there at SummerSlam, that'd be something. But I don't think it's going. It ain't making no sense right now. Why they doing it?
What, with the Wyatt Six?
The Wyatt Six and Chad Gable ain't really making sense. Why they going after Chad Gable? I'm still trying to figure that out.
I don't get it either, man. I really, truly don't understand it. And they're not explaining it.
Because I even went back when it was all NXT, and the only thing they had NXT was him versus Rowan and Brody Lee. That was it. That's the only thing they had in common. They had a tag team match. Nothing else. It's a one-time tag match.
So we have no history there. It's clearly not to reunite him with the Alpha Academy. So you really have a guy who's a ridiculous amateur pedigree, unbelievable in ring, can get heat with the crowd, can get over with the crowd as a babyface in Chad Gable, and we can't book him successfully. And literally, the Creed brothers being involved with Chad Gable is something I think everyone kind of wanted. And now that it's here, it doesn't really seem like it can go anywhere.
Yeah. Give it time. That's going to be the new team angle. Just give it time. It's going to be the brand new team angle.
You think?
You got a Olympian with two fellow tag team members.
I mean, I get it. The crowd does chant "You suck" whenever he comes out, but I don't know, man. I don't know if, like, it was reported that Chad Gable did some interview, and he said that Randy Orton told him that, forget the whole "you're the next Kurt Angle" stuff. You're Chad Gable. Like, you're over as yourself now. And then Chad Gable thought like that was like the biggest seal of approval he could ever get.
Yeah.
And I agree. That probably certainly is the biggest seal of approval he could ever get, right?
Yeah.
But what next?
All I know is Chad Gable said He only resigned because Triple H promised him a good future. So I'm gonna say somewhere within the next time frame, you're gonna see either tag team with the Creed and him with the World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah.
You think? You think?
Somewhere next year.
You think he becomes world champion?
I think he's gonna become a world champion.
So how does him being aligned with the Creed brothers go? I mean, do they become some sort of dominant trio faction?
Remember, Kurt Angle had the heavyweight championship. Charlie Hart and Shelton Benjamin had the tag team.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that's what they're going to do with Gable.
I think Gable gonna be, for his height, maybe like the shortest world heavyweight champion.
Is he shorter than Benoit?
I don't know.
I don't know if he's shorter than Benoit. He might be.
But I know he's shorter than he's definitely shorter than Seth. And I can't say it, but I say he could probably be the shortest champion. Not being funny about it, but hey, it could happen.
You really think so, huh?
Mm-hmm. I see. Chad Gable, he good in the ring. He got the perfect moves. That chaos theory he does is on point. It's perfect. And the way he does the German suplex, how he do it, just so slow and then bam, fast.
I mean, he does have a great German suplex.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
He don't do it fast. He do it like he's struggling and then boom, land it.
Yeah, like the way he does it, the timing, the pause, it always looks like he's putting everything he's got into making that German suplex happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that's enough in WWE.
Under Vinnie Mac, it wouldn't, but Triple H, I say it's something.
I hope, because I'm a big Chad Gable fan. Like, a really big Chad Gable fan. Like, I really, like, it bums me out that I feel the way I do, but I just feel like this feud right now, I feel like you build up this angle with him and the Alpha Academy, which had him really over as a babyface, and then really over as a heel, to never get a payoff of the heel getting his, and then you're going to just thrust him into a totally different feud that doesn't make any sense. Give him a brand new faction that realistically has to lose their first feud. They have to lose to the Wyatt Six. Right? They literally can't win this.
I think they should win.
You think they should win?
I think they should win.
Okay, I understand thinking they should. Okay, I'll let you think they should.
I think they should win.
Do you think any other fan on the planet accepts the idea of the Wyatt Six losing their first feud?
Realistically, yes.
Really? You think like that's going to be like if the Wyatt Six loses their first feud against Alpha graduates, I guess we'll call them.
Yeah.
I think WWE fans will lose their damn minds. They will say that this is a disgrace to Bray Wyatt. They'll have all kinds of things to say. You hear that ice falling? Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm. I heard it.
That's that new refrigerator. That's why I froze up because they were calling me, telling me that tomorrow they're bringing me another refrigerator. That ice falling was the new refrigerator.
It's about time it's working now. Shoot. Nah.
It's not working. It doesn't the freezer is not at 0. It's on the coldest setting, and it won't get to 0 degrees.
Never mind then. But no.
But it does. The ice maker does work. But
Okay.
it's loud as shit.
Yeah, I did hear. I did hear in the background like, oh, it's working now. They finally got that refrigerator fixed. Like, oh, okay, never mind.
No, that was I froze up because I was getting the call coming through that they're going to bring me another one tomorrow between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., which is a terrible window, to be honest with you, for me tomorrow. But
Yes.
I don't know. I ain't going to call nobody out by name, no manufacturers, no shit like that from me, but just tell you that buying major appliances is such a pain in the ass. I hate it, man. Like, I could. You ever go into a purchase knowing this ain't gonna go good?
Hey, the best purchase I could say I ever bought in this house was the Samsung washer and dryer. That's the best thing I could say for appliance.
I don't know. I don't know if we'll stick with this one once we get the replacement. I don't know. It's iffy. It's just, we had our other refrigerator for a long time. I think we bought it in 2010 when we remodeled the kitchen. But I remember when I took it out, I seen the manufacturers. It was manufactured in 2007. So that thing had some years on it. And I think we're just used to the performance of a higher end refrigerator, maybe. I don't know. But I digress. Anyway, that loud ass noise y'all heard was it dropping ice. Oh, by the way, the boil alert's over, Joe. You don't got to boil your water no more.
All right, yeah, cool.
I would flush your pipes, but you ain't got to boil the water. Anyway, what the hell was I bitching about? Chad Gable.
Okay, this is why. The only reason why I say the Wyatt Sickles should lose is because come Monday they're gonna have some more. They're gonna have some more tapes, and they want to keep them tapes rolling, and they want you to understand that it's not over between them two, and they're gonna seek their revenge on Gable and graduation.
I like that you're calling him graduation. That's hilarious to me.
I got things.
I'd be okay with it because it benefits Gable and his crew. I just don't know how you make it work for the Wyatt Sickles because I think just fans are I think there's gonna be so much fan backlash.
But you got to realize, the fans got to realize this is not Bray Wyatt in control no more. Even though you feel like they should just make everything win for Bray Wyatt, they were probably doing what Bray Wyatt would want to do. Make them lose their first match, and then after the first match, carry on a better feud and seek their revenge.
Yeah, I guess. I think SmackDown kicked off with Carmelo Hayes and Andrade as an answer to MJF and Will Ospreay. I think WWE thought that was like the most comparable opening match they could put together for SmackDown. What do you think?
I think they'll come up with something better. Realistically,
I don't think Andrade should have won.
He shouldn't have won. Nah, he shouldn't have won. But you got to think about it. They had plenty of hour matches in WWE on a non-pay-per-view show. They had plenty.
True.
This was probably maybe their first major one. They probably had another one, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, AEW has had a couple. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. I think Kenny Omega did something.
Yeah.
I'm sure Brian Danielson had one. His may have been with Kenny.
Yeah, there was another one they did on live television for an hour, but I forgot what it was. But yeah, I think Carmelo should have won that. He had that. That could be a better revenge from that Money in the Bank.
We had a few things happen to build on SmackDown, which next week's SmackDown is taped. I'm not checking out spoilers. I'm not giving away spoilers. None of that. But Cody pretty much makes it official, him and Solo, right? Logan makes it official, him and LA Knight.
Oh, you know why they taped it, right?
I don't. Actually, I have no idea why next week's episode is taped.
Logan can't go into China or Japan.
Oh. They're in Japan next week?
That's why. Yeah. Logan can't go over there.
Oh. We'll talk about this as we get closer, but right now, what are you feeling? SummerSlam. WWE has signed Hikuleo, the tallest of Haku sons.
I heard about that.
Does Solo Sikoa defeat Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam? We have plenty of time to change our minds. Here's what I'll say before you give me your thoughts.
Okay.
Last night's Solo promo was probably one of his best to establish himself as the guy in the bloodline. He is the tribal chief. The way it was shot, the way he was flanked by the bloodline, felt very Grand Theft Auto, villainous, mob boss, surrounded by his henchmen, for lack of a better word. And it was probably the most establishing promo he's done of I'm the guy in charge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it felt miles away from anything Roman Reigns ever did. Like, if there wasn't the contrast of 4 years of Roman Reigns, what Solo delivered would have been pretty damn good. Well, it was pretty damn good. It could have been possibly great. But looming over Solo Sikoa as tribal chief is 4 years of Roman Reigns, delivering the best chill Roman promos. Very importantly, all of them delivered in the ring. I think an in-ring promo carries far more weight than a pre-taped, or a taped, whatever, backstage, stage segment. Give me a guy in the ring with a mic in his hand any day of the week over that. But it was Solo's best work leading up to SummerSlam. Could Solo beat Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam?
My answer?
Right now, we have plenty of time to change our minds. Your answer today, can Solo win it?
Yes. Solo can win.
Does he?
Yes.
If it was happening tonight, would you book Solo to win?
I would. If it was SummerSlam tonight, I would book Solo to win. I'll make that the last match. So, you got, his boys helping to win the match. Bloodline. You got Kevin Owens and Randy out there trying to stop him. Boom. Then boom, you got that lovely Samoan Spike crossroad about to happen. And then you get the newest member to surprisingly show up of the bloodline. Cody drops Solo. Got distracted. Solo gets back up. Got Spike. The ref comes. 1, 2, 3. You got that good 10, 15-minute gap in between before it goes off. And as it goes off, Solo telling everybody to acknowledge him as your tribal chief. Acknowledge me as the new leader of the bloodline. Telling them that he ain't never leaving his family. He's not leaving nobody behind. We are all one. They do the one. He tells the crowd, now acknowledge me as your new tribal chief. His solo music hits, and boom, as they start to go out the ring, that's where you get the Roman. That's where the Roman comes.
That's where Roman return happens.
That's when the Roman returns.
I don't hate it.
With Paul Heyman.
I don't hate it. But what if we got a different return at SummerSlam with Paul Heyman? What if everything you just booked happens and Solo's leaving and Paul Heyman comes out? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate for the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. We get a Solo Brock feud. Solo comes out on top. Then we get Roman coming back. Because Roman coming back at SummerSlam is very predictable.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what should happen. Brock being the guy who Paul brings back first, I don't know if anyone's expecting that. Do I think that's what happens? I don't. I don't think Brock's really interested in being a pro wrestler anymore.
Nah, he got this little his meat farming he got going on. But
I think he's checked out. I think there's too much drama that he got wrapped up in that he doesn't want in his life, and he doesn't need the money. He doesn't like to travel anyway. I don't think Brock Lesnar comes back to pro wrestling ever. I think it may be the Roman return, which isn't bad at all by any means. It's not bad that Roman comes back at SummerSlam. I just think it's very predictable. I don't know how you curveball it. I don't know how you surprise us with it, if that's even doable. So, we got Collision tonight, Joe.
Collision, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, Saturday night, Collision. You tuning in?
I'll tune in. I got set the court, 8 o'clock. Because I keep forgetting Saturday, 8 o'clock. I always come in at 8:30, so man.
We have the debut of Hologram on Collision tonight, Joe. Live tonight. I think Hologram is Ricochet.
Hologram. I don't know.
I could be
I don't know.
wrong.
You know what? What if WWE is giving you a big swerve right now? What if Ricochet is still with WWE, but he's just taking a little time off to relax, enjoy life?
I mean, he can always sign with them. Just because he didn't extend the contract he had, he could have worked out a new deal.
Yeah. What if they just swerve and he did sign, but they don't want the observer and everybody else to think that he didn't?
Could be. Collision also has the Bang Bang Gang versus the Patriarchy in the AEW World Trios Championship. So they're back to being the Bang Bang Gang again. They're not Bullet Club Gold anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine the Patriarchy loses that. Don't see a point in them winning. Darby Allin faces the Beast Mordos. That match is going to be fun as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Darby's going to win it, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Roderick Strong will face Tomohiro Ishii.
Roderick Strong should win.
For sure, but damn, that's going to be a good match. We're going to hear from FTR. Thunder Rosa will face Deonna Purrazzo in a lumberjack match, which I think should probably be called a lumberjill match, but it's a lumberjack match. And Sky Blue will face Hikaru Shida. For me, I'm really interested in hologram. I don't know if they're just gonna have this person be hologram and that's it, or if it's somebody else and they're gonna like show you who they are. I think it'd be cool as hell if it was Ricochet, but if they just have a character that they've thought of and they're just gonna do a masked guy and see how it goes from the ground up, it'll be interesting because they haven't done that. Like AEW hasn't created a character from the ground up at all. Everyone has been from somewhere else. Either they created their own character on the indies, they are who their character is a WWE guy with a name change, but as far as a character from nothing, hologram is the first one that I can think of.
The other one that came out with Jungle Boy, the little one.
Marco Stunt was from GCW.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
Marco Stunt is just Marco Stunt.
Yeah. I thought he'd be lucky one. I can't think of it.
Yeah. Well, Joe, with that, I think that's a good recap for the week. Yeah. Great conversation about what's going to happen tonight in Collision. Next week's Dynamite is Blood and Guts. Team AEW, Team Elite, taking place in Nashville, Tennessee. Your sister's trying to take me to that, but I don't think we're making the commute to Nashville midweek.
Yeah, you got that refrigerator worried about.
Yeah, this refrigerator's been a pain in the ass. But I digress. But thank you, everyone. Check us out live on Instagram. If you didn't get us live on Instagram, you check us out YouTube, Spotify, wherever it may be. Thank you for checking us out. Make sure you check us out live on Instagram because you can catch the show live. And you can interact in the comments. And raw, uncut, unedited live on Instagram. If you're into building Gunpla and you like Gundams or any other models or trains or whatever it may be, check out our post about them, and there's a promo code. You can save 10% online, Haven Hobby. We got Alt Wrestling Tees, great shirts. Still got to get Joe his. Mm-hmm. Monsters R0, some great combat sports shirts and hoodies. Smack Talk Showdown, great pro wrestling card game where you can talk smack to your friends and family. Builder Bear Gummies. Caffeine gummy bears, 20 milligrams caffeine per bear. Tastes like candy, kicks like coffee. Stay tuned. We got some working on some interviews coming up. Possible work with some folks from Vegas. So stay tuned. Who knows what could be coming your way? We will see you Monday night, Joe, 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Monday.
See you guys 5 p.m. Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Collision. And we'll see you then. We're out.
Out here.